Hey guys, let me know if you see me. Please let me know if you can hear me okay this time. I heard Sia is so powerful that this isn't even live. It was recorded 6 days in the future and sent back in time to show how well she can predict the past. That's such a cool idea. Yeah, and I knew you were gonna write that, so oh my god, my brain. It's funny because I'm doing Rockefellers today, at least the beginning of it, of this live stream. So it is kind of like going back into the past. Hey, you guys. Hey, Andre and Sasuke and Richard and JD and Michael. So thanks for joining me on a Saturday, you guys. I thought maybe I would experiment to see what would be really good. When would be a really good time to stream. So, hi Bernie. I'm really good, thank you. Kind of scrambling to get things done. And this tech is still kind of new to me, so I haven't had the chance to like fix it yet. So, if something happens again, I'm gonna find out in the chats again. So, yeah, look at this awesome pencil. Ooh, I'm gonna be using the Blackwing Palomino today. So, if I have to draw anything, but I think I'm just gonna start inking this right now, and then I might jump to a different. I might jump to a different panel, and then I'm gonna do a Scarlet Witch commission today. So I'm gonna start that while I'm finishing up Morrigan from 3 streams ago because I didn't want to keep drawing the same thing on the live stream, so we're gonna jump around and do a few different things. So I will go ahead and start inking right now, I think. So I'm hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, or 3. I'm chatting and hanging out with you guys, doing the stream, and also getting my work done. So this is kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I've been doing it for the last couple months, I think. So Sean asked if I could get these Blackwing singles. You know, every once in a while there will be some stores that like will break them out of the box and just sell them individually, I think. And there's a couple of paper stores in this area that does that. But yeah, I actually bought a bunch of boxes of them early on, so I have plenty of those to use. So yeah, oops. Let's leave this right here. Okay, I'm gonna start inking. Is this issue number 9? Yes, it is. So, you know, I'm not giving anything away, right? By showing this panel, this close up. So let me give you guys a quick intro. This is basically the cover I did, and for issue 7, and I don't know if there's any spoilers in here, but here's some of Francis's pages. So, and then some of this right here. Have this on hand. I don't think there's any spoilers in here, not necessarily. And so I worked on this a couple months ago, and what an amazing team, and to be able to work with my favorite creators, you know, and Francis, obviously he's my buddy, so it was really cool. And I've learned so much from Francis, like everything, and we geek out over like camera gear and, you know, filming and stuff. So it's been an honor. So Ellie, how cool does it feel to hold something? So I love having the physical book in my hand. I mean, that's kind of why I do what I do, is because I love the idea of like you spent months and sometimes years making something, and then you see it in print. It's an amazing feeling. There's nothing like it. And I used to like sniff the paper, the comic book paper, when it's printed. So there we go. Greek mythology artwork. Richard's gonna do some Greek mythology artwork. I love Greek mythology. I'm sure we all got raised on stuff when we were in elementary school and high school. So I heard it was a silly thing that happened, maybe it was a year ago, that apparently people Google search a lot about the history of Rome or something like that. And I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, when haven't they? Like, I Google that stuff all the time, and especially for work. And funny enough, speaking of ancient Rome, if you check out issue 8 of Rockefellers, you're going to see ancient Rome. No spoilers there because it was actually in the preview that was released a week ago. This is kind of thick. So let me show you guys my favorite brush that I use all the time in all my videos. So here is my famous, most awesome Kiritake Menzo brush. I got, I think, a couple of these imported from Japan couple of years, 3 years ago, because I wasn't sure if we're gonna be able to get it on Amazon anymore, so they were quite expensive, and I have like 3 of these, you know, kind of in weight just in case I need it. So look at how fine that is. Mess up my ink, but this one's pretty it's got kind of a buildup from all the inking that I've done, so it's like, yeah, it's kind of stiff. But you know what's awesome about this is because I use water-based ink, it doesn't actually stay hard. It's pretty soft. So that's basically what I start with. And then yeah, it does, the line weight it varies so well that this is my favorite brush. Like, you could go from really thin to really thick lines, and it gives a lot of texture too. So I was wondering if 1,000 Years Batman and Superman will be studied in Greek myths, like Greek myths. You know what, Ellie? I always thought about that. Like, I'm pretty sure if someone picked up, like, there was a vault or something, that a time capsule, that they'll look at Superman and Batman and think that they were actual gods, especially Superman. So let's see, how long did it take you to ink and color a book? So Bernie asked how long it takes to ink and color a book. It really varies, and it all depends on the interior page. Like, if there's a ton of panels, it's gonna take longer. But if it's like talking head panels, those aren't too bad. It's the splash pages where it's like a double page spread. Like, this one's gonna be a double page spread. And ones with backgrounds, they take longer. I mean, I generally don't like to ink for more than a day. And if you spend like another day, so maybe let's just say 8 to 9 hours maybe per page, depending on the type of page. And 6 Illustrate asked about Neo Wonderland. So there's going to be a lot of info on the book coming up in the next couple of weeks or so. And after I finish this book, I'll give you guys a really big update on Neo Wonderland. So I'm really excited about that, and you get to see who's part of the team, I guess. So, oh, you're welcome, Bernie. So Richard, yes, you know what? I wanted to do like some fan art or some artwork of the 4 Horsemen. I thought that would be really cool. And that's kind of how I came up with a few of my character designs, like based off of that mythology. So I was contemplating like texting Pete and Francis, and I was going to tell them I was going to be on here in case they need to jump in and help me out with a few things with the how they came about with the story and all that. But I think maybe I'll do a separate episode where I'm actually chatting with the team, the Rockefellers team. See if I missed anything. Oh. Okay. So yeah, you guys heard it first. The update for Neo Wonderland is coming up very, very shortly. And it's funny because I went like a while with not saying anything, and then all of a sudden you're just going to get dropped with a bunch of information right away. So you heard it here first. I'm excited, to say the least. I'm really, really excited. So you guys get to see who's going to be helping me with the book and everything. And all the little special treats that I have planned, I guess. This is kind of watered down. Very watered down. Oh, thank you, Richard. Yeah, I was gonna go like, go and do it on my own. What's the word I'm looking for? But then I realized if I want to get Neo Wonderland done the way that I want it, I need a little bit of like really good professional help with fulfillment and maybe lettering and the design in the book and just marketing. Like, I've been able to talk to some of my awesome friends who've got more experience than I do, and it's like I'd rather just focus on the art and managing the book and the story than actually like all the logistical stuff. And I know enough to know that I don't know everything. So see that? I love this brush. I love it because it gives you that dry brush look fairly easily. And I'm using the Sumi Ink 60 from Zig, the Kiritaki. So it's because I've had this ink for a while, it's a little thicker, but it's also really it's also really easy to water it down. I cannot speak today. Comic book sniffer, yeah. I am a comic book sniffer, but the ink, lately, especially this one, I think it. Oh, okay. Because when I first opened it, it was a really strong smell because I just got it out of the envelope. But right now, it doesn't smell so strong. It's what I'm used to. But I could tell when they use a different ink or something because it smells different because I've been sniffing comics for a long time. Too much information. Oh, I love that. Look at that dry brush. This is like my favorite thing to do ever. Oh yeah, I should stay focused because I'm forgetting that there's some elements of this page that I can't forget. I think someone asked me a couple of streams ago and I forgot to respond if I was going to have guest artists on my stream, and I'm definitely going to try it. I was going to do it last night, but I was like, I don't want to ask her. It's too soon and we're not prepared for it, and I still have to like figure out all of the logistics for the gear and everything. So okay. Yeah, Richard, sometimes we are too proud, or like there's a budget restraint, or you don't have enough of a connection. It's all sorts of stuff, and I've just, I've been doing it for a while, so I'm fortunate that I have friends who are willing to help me out, and I've been watching them do it for years now, so. And I mean, I'll be the first to admit when I'm not really good at something. I'm not going to pretend like I'm the best at so many things. I'm like the jack of all trades. So okay, so let's see if we could get a thicker line coming out of here. What's up, Jefferson from Brazil? Awesome. What time is it in Brazil right now? I think it's getting kind of dark. Let me fix this really quick. That's much better. Okay. Oh, awesome. So Jefferson, it is 5:45 p.m. in Brazil. I think this is a really good time to stream. I mean, it seems to be working out. Oh, thank you so much, Jefferson. I appreciate it. I am going to see how far I can get with this in the next maybe half an hour. So in real time, you'll see how far I get with these panels. Or, yeah. This is an easy panel though, because it's just his face. It's a really huge close-up. But if it was like one with a bunch of panels right now, it would take me a lot longer to do this one panel. So. See, I like to do this. This is kind of like speed lines, really, if you think about how this, how I approach doing lines, especially with this brush. So I have a quick question for you guys. If there was, let's just say, guest artist on the variant covers for the for Neo Wonderland, do you guys have like some artists that you could recommend or that you'd love to see draw a variant cover for Neo Wonderland? You know, it's going to be cyberpunkish-esque, or it is cyberpunk. So, I mean, whose style do you think would fit the book? Francis is a must. Dan, oh my god, Dan Panosian would be amazing. I'm a huge fan of all of these people, so if you say a name, I'm probably like, oh man, how about we get all of them to do it? Yeah, I'm just joking. I don't have that kind of budget, but that would be sweet. So Andre asked, or said, I used to work traditional, but then switched to digital. Now I want to go back to traditional, but I have so many doubts. How do you manage yourself when you start working on a page? Okay, so let me see if I could answer it in multiple approaches for that. So, for me, it actually depends on the project because I price traditional inks and paper and, you know, like traditional work differently than my digital. My digital is going to be a little bit less because you're not really using up supplies, but my page rate's a little bit more, actually it's quite a bit more on paper and ink. So depending on the deadline and then the budget, the proposed budget that the project has, then I kind of go from there and go, okay, you know what, I'll do digital for this book. Or if they want me to color as well, then it's like, then it's a different price point altogether. But then there's also the traditional pages and then digital color. So I have multiple ways to approach it. So that's kind of how I would figure, that's how I personally figure out what to do, because I was doing digital for a long time and then I switched back to traditional, and then since I got so used to doing both things, I feel comfortable either way, you know, either direction. And then obviously when I'm done with the pages, I still have to scan it and then prep it on like software and stuff to get it ready to print. So oh, look at all these names for cover artists. Oof. Hello, Manuel from Chile. Nice to meet you. And we have a list of artists everybody wants. My gosh. I'm such a huge fangirl, so I would love to have all these artists. I mean, I daydream about like how my characters will look drawn by other artists. I mean, I think we all do that, right? That's why variant covers are important, not just for the fans, but for the artists themselves too, or the people creating the book. Oh, you're welcome, Andre. Yeah, there's pros and cons to digital and, traditional mediums. So with whatever is most comfortable for you, and then whatever you think fits the project, I think you go for it. And time as well. So time is also a huge factor. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Oh, thanks, JD. Yeah, so this facial expression, I'm gonna have to give Francis credit for that because he gave me some layouts in case I needed to see how the story was gonna flow, and then I had the option of like, kind of taking his guidance or just kind of going a completely different direction. But obviously, I was like, oh, that panel is so sweet. His I don't know if any of you have seen Francis Manapul's YouTube channel. His most recent episode is he shows the layouts, and some of those layouts were actually the ones that I ended up the references that I had. So you see how awesome his layouts are, and he's so precise. Even though it's loose, it's also very precise. Like he's going just for the emotion of the story in the panels, So let me see. So Richard, this one is I don't know what this is actually. It's not a medium and it's not a large. It's in its own category. It's like super. I mean, I think it's between a small and a medium, I guess, if you want to call it any size. So Miguel asked, do you think there is a trend for studios to prefer artists who pencil and ink their artwork like you instead of having an artist for each? Miguel, it all depends on if the artist has like a team they work with that's a really great inker and they've inked them before. I mean, I don't think studios care as long as it gets done on time and it looks great and they don't have to go and I guess try to figure that out, because that's why some inkers will ink with certain pencilers. I mean, if you got a great inker penciler, then that's even better, of course, because you're intact, right? But I've worked with both of those things where I was inking and also someone else was inking my work. And like with this book, John is actually you see John Kalitz is coloring my work in this one. I love to ink hair and mustaches, and so I'm gonna start doing that right now so that we make some huge headway. Oh, you're welcome, Miguel. Oh yeah, Andre. Inkpulp, I love Sean and those guys at Inkpulp and Eric Canetti and oh my god. What's his name? Matteo, yeah. I'm just like spacing. I was on their podcast one time, and it was when I was living in the cabin, and so I had the worst internet connection, and my feed kept freezing. It was horrible. Yeah, there's a lot of really good artists YouTube channels too. We have like Ryan Benjamin's, we have David Finch, we have Sandra Hope's inking channel, and then I could probably go on and on and on. It's quite a few that I love, and every time I get to catch it, I try to pop in the chat room and stuff. So. Andre, you saw that episode? Yeah, it was embarrassing. I'm like, oh, look at my new red camera, and then I couldn't even get my feed to work right. It was like, okay, what's the point of having all this really nice gear if you cannot even stream and make it look good? Yeah, I won't go crazy. I'm gonna leave his mustache as is for now. Why does it seem blurry? Interesting. You know, I'm just gonna skip around a little bit and do some, let's just finish his mouth off. You know what I should probably pay attention to is what the all my colleagues are streaming and when they're streaming, so that I don't step on their toes and try to stream at the same time, because then you guys would have to split your time, right? So Emmanuel asked how long it takes to what is it? To make a sequential page. So splash pages where it's really big and it's like one panel, that takes longer, and pages with backgrounds take longer. So my goal is usually like no more than like 6 hours a page if I was to time it. I guess I'm gonna have to like do something from start to finish, like one of the harder pages, to see how long it takes. But the ideal pace would be like a page a day is how they say it. But I've been able to take a few shortcuts here and there, because I don't do like really tight layouts unless I have to. And then I don't tighten my pencils. As you can see, this is pretty loose, but I know what I'm doing because I'm inking. But if someone else was to ink my work, I'd probably tighten the pencils a lot more. So, hello, Mr. Docs. It's nice to see you again. And Echo, right? Hi, Echo. And so, Six Illustrate asked, do you find it difficult to balance being a full-time comic book artist and a videographer? Yeah. Yes, I do. Actually, when I film my own stuff, it's one thing, but I was working on a documentary and I'm still working on it. Now we're in like the editing phase, and I haven't had the chance to go back and look at everything, and we're trying to get like funding for different parts of the project, so that I haven't had a chance to do that. But I think I'll have more time after I finish Rockefellers to do the video stuff as well. That's kind of why I'm doing live streams too, outside of like chatting with you guys. It's like I wanted to still like keep in touch without having to wait weeks and months just to edit like a video, which I'm still gonna do, but just haven't had the chance to do it yet. Plus I'm trying to figure out like what I would want the next episode to be about as well. So let's see if I could autopilot this inking process, because right now I'm like, I think I'm thinking too much on how to approach it. Let's see here. Echo, I am working on Rockefellers. So this is the book right here. So I'm inking the next issue or the following issue. Thank you so much, Bernie. Inking is like my favorite part of the process right now, currently. I can't wait to figure out like what you guys will think of Neil Wonderland in terms of like the way I color it, because I was trying to fine tune my approach for that book and for the coloring at least. I know I'm going to use like screen tones, so it's going to be a lot like this where you can see like screen tones kind of. So that's the look I'm going for. Like it's going to be a hybrid of like manga and Western comics. So there's too much ink right here. Let's switch brushes so you guys could see this brush. And this is a Vienna Artist Loft. This is actually a really cheap brush, number 6 round. I got this from Michael's, so it's not expensive, but it's like artificial hair, so it keeps its shape pretty nicely. So, Image Comics. Yes, Image Comics is my favorite stuff to work on right now. So the Dragon Book, Tara's asking about the Dragon Book. I had a lot of the pages done, but then there's some parts of the story arc that I wasn't like quite sure how it was going to go from point A to point D. So I put that on hold, but I could show you guys at some point some of the pages I have. I'm going to do Neil Wonderland first and get that moving because that's an older story. And then I'm going to jump back to Dragon's Glacier, which is the Dragon Book. Yep. It's like when you're in comics and you're drawing and you have all these projects, it's like on top of like this is how I make my money full time is like being an artist. I have to balance like my own personal books with different contracts and projects that get handed to me. So Super Toyota asked if I prefer Goku or Vegeta. 1 second. Sorry guys, my camera just fell asleep. I want you guys to guess if I'm a Goku kind of person or Vegeta or what's his name? The one that keeps that was like he was like Goku's arch enemy when he was like growing up or something, and he kept calling him Kakaroto. Cockroach or something like that. So Brawly, yes. Yeah, I'm a Goku girl, so. But I like Trunks. That was my favorite. Purple hair Trunks, purple jacket. Yeah, Trunks looked really cool. I used to like drawing him. I think I mentioned this, like how I got, connected with Dragon Ball early on when I was in middle school. One of my classmates' friends, he had a friend that was from Japan and in the military, and so they would record the VHSs of the anime, and then he would bring it back to the States. And so there was no subtitles, and I didn't know Japanese at the time, but it was it's pretty awesome. And that's how I got to watch Dragon Ball Z. And it wasn't like the whole all the episodes, it was just enough to make me happy. Yamcha? No, not really. I'm like jumping around a lot, which I normally don't do. But then I think that since I'm doing this live, I'm like, what kind of big shapes can I draw out of here, or just kind of demo how I approach, like, inking with certain brushes and shapes. So it's kind of like a little all over the place. I mean, I wanted to show you guys how I ink hair with these two different brushes. So I'm only using two brushes right now. It's the Vienna and the Kiritake. So simplified today. So Echo, what made you want to start streaming? Outside of the fact that it took so long just to make episodes, and I didn't want to just go on forever without, posting anything. I was trying to do that a year ago, but my internet connection was so bad in the old house that I had to wait until I moved to a place with faster internet, and now it's not like the worst thing to ever happen. So streaming is much easier now. I think I tried it a couple years ago and I froze and there was like nothing happening there. So this worked out pretty good. And even then, I think the internet could be a little faster. And because when I game, when we play Call of Duty, it's like they stick us in a room with servers with a bunch of really good guys that have really fast internet, and ours is just like slower than most people. So yeah. Yeah, bad Wi-Fi. We had DSL at the cabin, so that wasn't even like a thing, and we had to like get it put in because there was no internet there. So had to get it wired in and everything from the highway. It's pretty insane. Speaking of cabin, we rented out the cabin, so we have guests staying there every few days or so, and so we're still keeping that going. Let's see if I can do something fun with this. Like speed lines. Yeah, baby. Speed lines. Let's see if I missed anything. See, every artist has those certain... Okay, so Andre asked about music. Every artist listens to certain music. Do you listen to a specific genre of music, or do you listen to some music to be in the mood? So Andre, I actually have like different playlists for what I'm working on. Sometimes I just like when I wake up in the morning, I just want lo-fi, chill hop, jazz type of stuff. But then if I'm working on books, like I'm inking and stuff, I like electronic or just trippier music. So if you look in the video description for the last episode, I actually have the Neo Wonderland playlist for my Spotify, so you guys could check that out. And I don't know if you could search for it, but I have a public playlist for my cyberpunk inspiration. It's a mixture of like all sorts of stuff. So yeah, dance music and classical. I mean, it really depends. I just love all sorts of music. So what am I doing? Let me think this one through. I'm just like, So okay, yeah, that's fine. This is okay. This is not gonna kill me. Speed lines. I could go overboard with speed lines. I could make a whole comic book of speed lines. I think that's why I liked a lot of the Wayne Chow comics, like the Hong Kong comic books back in the day, like when I was in middle school and high school. Like there was just so many speed lines with all of like the moves and everything. So yeah, that's where I got my inspiration from mostly. So Tara asked if I have to draw comic books every single day. I do actually. Lately, it's been nonstop. I do it every day. And then I'll take a break, like, in the evening, and then I'll go back to it, like, because I feel weird not finishing it. So yeah, I've been drawing comic books every day for quite some time now. Every once in a while, I'll be able to get away and do, like, go on a camping backpacking trip or something out into the woods. So that's fun. But yeah, I feel like it doesn't seem like I draw all the time, but I actually do. We're almost done with this series, or at least I am. So I'm gonna take a couple of days to get some business stuff planned, and then I'm gonna jump right back into Neo Wonderland, because we gotta get that out the door this winter, but early fall. So in the drawing, is that glass? Yes, it is glass. He's gonna go upside down now. This is the last panel on the page, so I have to keep pushing the piece of paper up. So Alan asked, what do I think of the modern anime compared to the early 90s or early 2000s? So this is just a personal preference. For me, I love basically the late 80s, early 90s anime. It's nostalgic, but there's a grittiness to it inherently just because of the way that it's being drawn. I know there's a lot of good stuff. I watched some like Naruto from the early 2000s, and what else did I see? There's Death Note and stuff. So there's plenty of great things. And if you're talking about like nowadays, I personally like it when my anime is like at least the characters are 2D and they look two-dimensional versus like the 3D that is cell shaded to look like it's 2D. There's just like a dimensionality that I think it's just the movement. It just feels unnatural, even though technically more frames are supposed to be better, right? But it just doesn't look as natural as like animating in ones and twos, like 12 frames per second. I wouldn't go above 24 frames per second with the in-betweens and everything. So I think that's a personal preference. I just like how 2D animation looks when it's actually 2D and not like the 3D version of 2D, if that makes any sense. So JD asked if who's crouching behind Roland. Well, actually, that's another frame. That's actually another panel, and it's still Roland. So no spoilers there, huh? What do we have here? My favorite current anime. I haven't really been watching a whole lot, but if I had to go and watch one right now, I would probably watch the Cyberpunk anime, and I'd watch that just so that I could kind of steer clear of any kind of too much similarities, I guess. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So Richard asked if I've ever used a glass pen for inking. No, I'd like to. I would love to try it, but here's the problem is I got so many art supplies, as you guys know, that it's easy for me to just keep buying stuff and experimenting, and then, you know, have nowhere to store it. Oop, oof. I'm just procrastinating. I just gotta do this. Well, if it's going like this, okay. Gotta fan out. Seriously, you loved your work. Anime Mosh Pit. Seriously, love your work. Phantom variant cover of Spider Gwen. Oh yeah, the Phantom cover of Spider Gwen. That painting I did. That was done in oils, I think. That was fun. And Lola, thank you so much. So for your pig, I try to get a variant work if I can. Can you say if you have any coming up? Yes, Anime Mosh Pit. I do have a variant cover coming up for sure. It's supposed to be released, I think. You'll find out what it is in October, maybe. So, and oh, thank you so much. My panel pacing. I'm trying. Hopefully, my new book, the pacing is going to be exactly how I want it to be, because I've been working on this Wonderland thing for a long time. So hopefully it's the best that I could do, because I keep going back to the story and how it unfolds, and I've had it in my head for 20 years, so it better be pretty decent, or else I'm gonna be disappointed in myself. Oh, so Echo asked about or mentioned Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and then Devil May Cry the anime. I actually started watching the Devil May Cry anime. Didn't get to finish it yet, and I need to go back to it. I mean, Dante is like my favorite, one of my favorite video game characters of all time. So that, and I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. That was like the first PlayStation video game we ever got. So my older brother bought it for my younger brother and I, and we were obsessed with that game. And I never really tried playing it because the controls are so bad, and it just freaks me out. Like, what if I run into the wall and this really slow zombie comes after me and it just bites into my neck, which it happened to my brother. I'm like, no, I'm never playing this game. So it wasn't until like Resident Evil 4 came out on the, was it GameCube? That I decided I was just gonna try playing Resident Evil myself, because the controls are much better. For an upcoming comic artist, what would you suggest to get started? So, if you mean how to practice, so Ruben asked, for an upcoming comic artist, what would you suggest to get started? I say do 4 to 5 pages of a sequential part of the storytelling, or practice. And if once you could do that, like no pressure, just do the best you can, and then try to move it along and focus on like the storytelling, the storytelling, and then your like anatomy and perspective and how to make panels interesting without having to draw everything. And then that also helps you speed up the process. And comic books, they say the good rule of thumb is to do 1 page a day, which honestly no one really does that nowadays. If you could do 2 pages a day and you get that fast, and I think you're on track. And also post your work online, like that's editors, like my editor from last week, he checks social media. So when you're comfortable, I say just start posting stuff, even if it's like a work in progress and you're still trying to be a better artist. So just noodling around here. I'm gonna have to come back to this panel. I don't want to I don't want to go overboard and then regret it later, because this is gonna go to print, so don't want to have to do this over. And quick tip, if I really mess up, man, it's getting bright outside. 1 second, let me adjust the it's too bright. Okay, much better. Don't start playing Baldur's Gate 3 because you won't be able to stop. Yeah, I've got like a bunch of games in my drawer, in fact, that I need to finish playing. Yeah, I think that when I'm finished with this book, when I take a break, I'll probably just, play a bunch of video games. Billy Powermax is a comic book writer. Awesome. Some pretty hard stuff with comic book writing, just because you have to partner with an artist if you could find one, and or draw it yourself, I guess. So more kudos to you. I had to learn how to write comic books after I was an artist for a long time, so. Tarna from Heavy Metal was cool. Yes. Oh, Nanas, thank you. So the paper is always the same, and the bleed marks on comic book paper, or a comic book, is always the same. So I had to draw my own this time because the paper I'm using doesn't have the guidelines, but usually it's cropped so that it fits like 8.8 or 8.67, I'm not sure, by 10ish. So the paper bleed marks are relatively the same on the paper, and then you fit it onto the template at 400 DPIs or so. Yeah. So I draw on 11 by 17 paper, and then then you shrink it to fit digitally, or the designer would do it for you, or the guy doing the layout, or the designer. So this is what do you call it? My favorite Pashka for when I make mistakes. So the trick here is using it and not smudging, because okay, so it works on here, but if I'm using a multi-liner, sometimes this would smudge my ink mark, so it doesn't look so hot. So yeah, I don't think I need it for this one right now, maybe later, but you'll see what I mean. It's really thick, and you could add like, speed lines that way. My lines are clean and steady. I don't know. I think I could disguise it pretty good so it doesn't look so funny. And to get your lines really straight when you're using a brush, I usually like to shadow my strokes a little bit, and then I go in and actually ink it with ink. Yeah, JD, Pashka has become a staple. It used to be like, remember those white Sakura markers? But they weren't as opaque, so the acrylic markers work a lot better. You know what, Billy? That's awesome. Congratulations for working on your book, because the silly thing with comic books is we take it so seriously that we get we freeze in trying to make it perfect, and the stress of like drawing it and writing it and then lettering it and then coloring it, and then we forget that we're supposed to have fun. This is comic books, it's art. So that's awesome that you had fun doing it. Oh, thank you so much, Manuel. I love sharing this stuff, because imagine if I never did, all of this just dies with me, which would really suck. And not only that, but I think it inspires people to create, because you realize I don't think I have any special skills. I just do it a lot, and then it kind of comes with time. So I think sharing your art with people, especially other artists, is a very valuable thing to do. So sharing is caring. Right, what time is it? So in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna switch to drawing Scarlet Witch, because I put that on my description, and I should probably get going on that too. So Yeah, I'm kind of not doing the, I think, important parts of this page yet. So this is kind of like a demo in a way. So I'm not going to finish this whole panel right this very second. So Ruben asks, is there any particular way to shade other than hatching lines? You could water down the ink, and then that's another way to shade. Francis does that sometimes, where he, the writer and artist of this book, he would do ink washes. So let me see if I can water this down so you see what I mean. So if you wanted to, you could, let's go over here. See, it's kind of watered down, so you could shade it if you watered it down enough, but I have so much ink in here it's not doing that. So that's another way you could shade if you're doing it, by hand. This should get thinner, but yeah, it's not thin enough, but you see how you could kind of. Hey, Deepal. How's your daughter doing? She been drawing a lot after the podcast episode? So Echo asked of how I like the new Spider-Man Brand New Day set photos. I didn't actually see them yet. I should probably check it out, maybe see a screen grab or something. Is this still Tom Holland playing him? I think it is, right? Oh, thank you, Deepal. You're such a good dad. I appreciate dads that, really support their, or parents, I should say, support their children's artistic skills and their desire to do it. It doesn't have to be a profession, but like I said, it really does help you process information in a creative way. And my dad was like that with me. He bought me my first drafting table and he supported me, so I took it as a hint that maybe he wanted me to be an artist. So here I am. John and Mark Ruffalo to come back as Punisher and the Hulk. Sweet. Yeah, my dad is a sweetie. He's sweet, except I think I might have told this story where I made one of my first paychecks off of comic books, and it was enough to buy him it was a Samsung, it was kind of like a tablet at the time, and I, spent a decent amount of money, and I was so proud of myself, and I went to give it to him, and then I saw that he was, my old drafting table that I had in the garage, he took it and he put hamburgers and ketchup and mustard, all the condiments just for the barbecue that we were having, so he treated it like it was a table that you just put stuff on to barbecue with, and it was almost like, I wasn't crushed, but I'm like, of course my dad would do that. He's like a utilitarian where he'll use something just because he could. And so he didn't care that it was sentimental to me, I guess. That was the silly thing. But yeah. Okay, we're going to put this page away and we're going to work on Scarlet Witch. Sorry, so I was drawing on my light box the whole time. Yeah, because it's sturdy. All right, so we are gonna start working on the 70s version of Scarlet Witch. So this is going to be a bust commission. So I fell in love with the art, and it was first Aspen Matthews. Oh, Aspen Matthews was one of the first characters that I drew besides Witchblade when I was practicing. So let's see here. I don't want this bust to look the same as the Darkstalkers one that I did. So that's the funny thing about doing character bust is like there's a tendency to do the same pose. So I'm gonna blank out for a couple minutes so I can figure out what I want to do with this one. Aww, she sent you a text message. That's so cute. Awesome. So she's inking too now. That's really cool. Yeah, it's fun. Someone said something about like Asian dads. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. They're super supportive, but then kind of like practical. Yeah, pragmatic. Exactly. Oh, my dad. Pragmatic is an understatement. Father and daughter bonding moment watching my videos. Yeah. I should have my dad watch my stream if he's not already snooping around in the chats. Actually, no, I don't want him to do that because he'll get bored. It's funny, like my dad never really understood comic book art, but he used to like give me feedback when I was younger and I was drawing comics. He'd be like, "Oh, her hands look kind of weird," or whatever. He's funny. It's funny. My first editor, basically. Robbie still has the drafting table my grandma bought me from Macy's in the mid '80s, and my 11-year-old daughter uses it now. Drafting tables are like a family heirloom, in my opinion. I still have mine, or my dad still has it in the garage, I think, if he didn't already use it for firewood. Gakyakuta, I believe it was the right up your alley. The mangaka is Kai Urana. She's quite the artist. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to check it out then. Thank you for the reference for that. Gakyakuta. Okay, gotcha. What are we doing with Scarlet Witch here, you guys? Let's see. I'm gonna have to pull up a reference really quick. I think the thing is I don't want to draw the same pose again, so. You know what? Maybe I will make her looking downwards more instead. Sorry, erased. Do I have a favorite fellow female comic book artist? Oof, I have a lot actually. I love Sarah Pichelli and her run on Spider-Man. I love Mirka Andolfo. They're all Italian. Who else do I have? I love Fiona Staples, of course. Yeah, there's quite a few actually. I love all of them, to be honest with you. So. Do you guys remember how long it took me to do Morgan that one time? Because I was like erasing her eyes constantly, and I kept looking at the little sketch I did. And the fact that I didn't do a sketch this time, I think I will be able to come up with the pose a lot easier. And I'm not like trying to do something I already did. So America is going to be in Toronto next week. Oh, awesome. Well, if you see her, tell her I said hello. Tell her and David I said hello. And Sarah Pacelli, God bless her for introducing me to Miles. Yes, Miles is such an amazing character. They did such an amazing job with that character. I mean, I think the first movie that came out, the Spider-Verse, I cried. I cried, and when he jumped off the building, that was just like, that made my heart, race. It was so amazing. When he first learned how to, I guess swing is what you call it, right? Who's swinging? We have flowy hair. You know, one of these days I'm going to be drawing poison ivy because that's what always happens. It's going to be poison ivy or Harley Quinn's always a popular one for commissions. So, one more second. This camera keeps, it's like the sun keeps moving, so it's lighting keeps changing. So the pencil I'm using, this is funny. This is a Home Depot carpenter pencil. It's like 20 cents at the Home Depot, and it works really well for when you want really big shapes and you don't want to like do too much with detail. But you know what's funny? It's like depending on how you sharpen it, you could actually get pretty detailed with this thing. So you know what? A pencil's a pencil. You do what you can with what you have. See, that's proof. It's not about the supplies or tools, it's how you use it. That's kind of half true and half needs to be expanded upon. So supplies do matter, you guys. It all just depends on what stage in, your work you're at, your career. I'm like looking at this little tiny reference photo right here. Let's see. Okay. So this paper is actually it's a 9 by 12, and it is kind of textured actually. You could probably see it a little bit. It's supposed to be smooth, but there's a little texture on it, and I like it a lot. I'm trying to remember what brand it is. I'm sure it's like Strathmore or Canson or something. Okay, let's draw her neck first and then worry about the scarf afterwards. Yeah, this pencil is a strange pencil. I could see why you'd ask about it. Yeah, Greg, yes, good, you're very observative. This is Scarlet Witch, the 1970s version, so I guess you could say the original version of Scarlet Witch. And what's cool about that is I can make her like really red and curly hair, so it's gonna be fun to ink and color the red hair. It's like Jean Grey. It's like really fun to draw her hair, and then Rogue's hair is fun too. Even though I don't know what I'm doing right now. I want like a flowiness to this piece. Starchild, Caitlin Fairchild. Yeah, I don't think I've ever drawn them before. Maybe I have one time. Confident lines. Yeah, I have confident lines because I get to erase it if I don't like it. Imagine if I couldn't erase. Oh my gosh. I guess that's what's nice about using Photoshop is like an undo button, infinitely possible. Okay. I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna try to use my Palomino now. The White Queen. Richard, yes, I have drawn the White Queen. I don't know if you guys caught Ryan Benjamin's live stream on the Proco channel a few days ago, and I told you he's fast. I think he was drawing Batman and he was just like drawing and talking, and I'm like, dude, I cannot keep up with you. Nor am I trying to, because that's what you know, what do you call him? He's a veteran master at what he does, so I'm just learning. Yeah, I know Ray's art, he's fire. Love Ryan Benjamin. I don't know if you guys saw the podcast episode I did with him. I think it was a couple years ago. Time flies, but that was fun. It was fun watching him draw Wolverine. And I know he's so fast. Yeah, I want to be as fast as him. It would do me some good if I was. Okay, so let's do this. I don't like that. Sorry, Vince. I know, I was like, I don't know if I should stream on Saturday, but I was like working on pages the whole week. I didn't have a chance to like prep, so I was like, maybe I'll just do it Saturday. And it's not like anybody's gonna want to hang out with me on a Saturday, right? Except for Vince, of course. I'm just joking. Vince and everybody else in the chat, you guys are awesome. Thank you for chilling with me. I hope I didn't take anybody away from their like awesome, amazing, relaxing Saturday plans. So afternoon plans and evening plans. Aw, only for my streams, Vince. You're so sweet. What do you want from me, bro? Just joking. You want to make a trade on the fantasy league? I'm just joking. Vince is here to assist me with all of your guys' questions and comic book needs. Aw, well, I hope you get better. Is it Wim's lore? I'm sorry to hear. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I could help you relax and heal a little bit. It's kind of fun drawing on Saturday. I don't feel like I'm under any kind of like pressure. It's kind of weird, even though I'm working today. I just feel like just because everybody else is off work, that it's okay for me to goof off as well and do my work. This might be a little outrageous for crown, headpiece, headdress. I think it's supposed to be close to her face. Oh, cool. I didn't know that Frank Cho is also online. And, first comic book script ever is all done. Ready to go see what advice you give. Comic book scripts. Comic book scripts, I like not to set them in stone because, at least as an artist, I have to go back and change a lot of the story or how it unfolds, and I'm sure Vince could, kind of back me up on that. It's like, especially as an artist, you write the script and the dialogue a certain way, and you go and draw it. Luckily, everything is in my own head, so I could fix it easily. But if I had to do that with an editor, writer, like Vince had to do that with me, that was kind of a tough sell. Especially when you're in the middle of drawing, you can't like just change your mind about something, or it's gonna be kind of hard to. Oh, Frank Cho and me would be legendary. Yeah, that would be pretty legendary. I'd love to get some of his work. Okay, we'll leave that there for now. I might fix this later, but it's good just to have it there. And I'm gonna start on her eyes. Here we go again, you guys. Remember how long it took for me to get eyes right? So first I gotta figure out what direction. Okay, I don't like this pencil. No, not that one. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, I'm gonna try my 2.0 Rot Ring 300 pencil to see how that turns out. Yes. Yeah, Vince. So when you're on a deadline, you can only change so much. And I think nowadays I understand leeway a lot more than I used to, like more leeway with the story. And honestly, like the process is a little different for different teams and deadlines. And so sometimes Vince and I would be able to change a few things, or if I draw something and it wasn't clear, we just fix it in dialogue or captions. Mark was able to do that and Vince was able to do that. It was kind of cool. And I think people know that drawing comic books, or just not drawing, but comic books is like a full-on team effort. But how much so is like it's all teamwork, and everybody gets to put their feedback into the process, like at Aspen at the very least. And so, you always feel like the story will be better that way. However, I kind of wish I was a much faster artist, especially with markers. Because I know that with Rockefellers, sometimes Peter Tomasi and Francis would have a better approach, like a scene or how the story would unfold, so they would adjust it. And I think we're all aware that what part of the process we're in or how far along we are, so that they know how you could fix something. So we've gotten really good at like fixing something or changing something without interfering with the deadlines too much and the overall process. So So my favorite artist for narrative storytelling. I love Sean Murphy's approach to storytelling because he's also a writer. I think he's aware of how his stories would unfold, and definitely Francis Manapul is amazing, writer artist combination as well. And when Francis lays his pages out, he actually does thumbnails first, or he does it in thumbnail form, so visually before he writes it on paper and stuff. Zatanna, yeah, she would be fun. I've drawn her before at for a really short story at no, what am I saying, at DC, and I've done commissions of her a few times. I would love to draw God, what is it, what am I thinking, Zatanna's boyfriend, Constantine, I think that's what I'm thinking. I kind of like the small pupils better. Oh, you're welcome, Ray's Art. Uh, Leah's, yes, I have posters for sale on my site of my own original characters. I don't have any licensed characters on there just because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm pretty sure I could probably do it though. So. Oh yeah, so first art, I was using the Kiritaki Sumi ink, ink 60. So it's like a water-based ink from Japan. See, so erasers, I normally don't use precision erasers, but I felt like this time I really needed to, so I use this one or I use this. But somehow, like this one, it picks up the pencil marks too much, so like it smudges, so I don't really like using this as much. Oh, thank you so much, Maurice. Lady Mechanica was like a dream book to work on. In fact, Vince could tell you, like, he basically showed me the very first ever drawing of Lady Mechanica that was going to be in one of the, I think it was Free Comic Book Day previews. And like I saw it before everybody else did, and I was like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. I was so jealous of how beautiful Joe's art was for Lady Mechanica when it first was teased. Yeah. Let's get to the nose. Sorry. What do we do here? Oh yeah, Echo mentioned WandaVision, the TV show. I didn't actually get to watch it yet, but I was thinking about doing it because I love the set design and the costume design, and I heard that the storyline was really important for the last. What was it? I didn't see that one. The what was it? Doctor Strange, the last Doctor Strange movie. I don't have Disney Plus, so I couldn't watch it. Hmm. JD, so some WandaVision is worth watching then? Okay, awesome. I was watching The Mandalorian for a while, and then that's around the same time, like the first or second season. That was around the time when I didn't have Disney Plus anymore, so I couldn't watch any more shows. Here we go again. I don't know what to do with her mouth. Part of me wants her to smile, but does that make any sense? Okay, you guys, she's not gonna have lips for a little bit until I can figure out what to do with it. Per usual. Classic Sia. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch WandaVision. It sounds like it's a good show. It looks like it's good. I don't doubt it. Did you guys watch the new Fantastic Four? I mean, I haven't been able to see that either. So Fantastic Four is really good. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't had time to like watch movies like so before I go to bed I'll watch like I like to watch TV shows so that I don't have to it's like background noise while I fall asleep. So I have my favorites for sure, which I'm not going to tell you guys what my favorite TV series is, or sorry, like online, online streaming shows are, because it's kind of silly, so cheesy and silly. uh, Maybe I'll tell you guys what my favorite series is later. Yeah. I started watching the Fallout show, and then I think the same thing happened. Like I stopped the memberships because I was working so much that I was like, I probably can't watch all of these shows and have all these streaming services. And you know what you do? You just kind of you disconnect them for a little bit, and then you come back. And so I'm kind of that's where I'm at right now. I don't even have any streaming services right now, so I think I'll start them back up after I finish Rockefellers, but we'll see. You know what? Next time you guys see me, her face is probably gonna be completely different because I'm doing that whole thing again where I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Oh, Maurice. So, who do you guys think is actually stronger? Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, or Zatanna? Like, if you had to pit up their powers against each other, who do you think has like eked out just the edge, or their personality? Like, you guys have like if you had to like pit them against each other, who would win? Scarlet Witch. Okay, so we got one for Scarlet Witch. Heaven, did I finish the Dark Stalkers cover? I have like a little bit more to do on that cover, but I didn't want to do 4 streams in a row where I was still trying to noodle around with it. So after I get further along with this one and off camera, I'm going to go ahead and finish that one so I could get them mailed out to the commissioner. What do I want to do with her hair? I'm just gonna go with it and see how I feel. I mean, I might change it later. She's got crazy hair. Pedro Pascal is everywhere. Yes, he is. That's a lot of work, you know? Yeah, you're right. He does need a break. Scarlet. Do I use references on my art? If it's like a character like this, I have to kind of use reference for their costumes and stuff. If you mean like poses and stuff, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It all kind of depends on the difficulty of the pose and what's going on. Doctor Strange. Okay, so we got 1 for Doctor Strange and 2 for Scarlet Witch as being the most powerful ever. Are they both in Marvel versus Capcom? Because we could settle that. And then they could tag team with like Mega Man or something, and then that makes them stronger. Razor said, "I just opened the fridge and Pedro Pascal was there." Yeah, he's everywhere. Wait, was he literally in there because he's like on a Coke bottle or some kind of product that you're using? Like mayonnaise or something? That's funny. Now the question is, what IP was it? Was it like Fantastic Four or was it like The Mandalorian? Crazy, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that again. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Sorry. You know what? I know how to fix this. I'm just gonna draw on scratch paper until I have a pose that I like. I'll just do this right here while I do that. I should have done the thumbnail first, but then that. Oh, cool. So Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are both in Marvel vs. Capcom. I didn't know Scarlet Witch was there for some reason. Sorry guys, I had to divert a little bit and do a little thumbnail just so that I know what I'm doing with this bust, because it, or else I just keep erasing on the paper and that wouldn't be good. So thumbnail is good for this. So there's Sophie Thatcher in the fridge instead. Vince, you're watching Pedro Pascal and Freaky Tales? All right, let's see. How many of you could tell me what Pedro Pascal TV show or movie you've watched in the last week? Let's hear it. Yes, it's a good reference. Okay, now back to this. Let's see. Okay. You would think that a bust wouldn't need a thumbnail sketch, and honestly, it does because you're so close to it, and it just doesn't look right. Especially because I'm sitting down, so it's kind of hard to. I kind of have to put it away from me so I could. Or squint, but it still doesn't work. So. Bernie, do I ever use a reference to get a certain look? It all depends. I try not to stick too closely to references because then it just looks, stiff. But oh, jeez, sorry guys, my camera keeps turning off. I thought I fixed it. So if I don't want it to look too stiff, I don't stick too closely to reference unless I really, really have to, which rarely happens. Usually if I need reference, I'll draw different approaches to something and then kind of try to memorize it in my head, the pose that I'm going for, so it's not so stiff. How much wind is going into her hair where it's doing that whole thing? Okay, I'm gonna have to extend the paper a little bit because it's throwing me off. So go on to like a separate sheet of paper basically, and just draw the whole body. That way it looks normal and not weirdly proportioned. Like her chest was too small. So, let's see, what am I missing? So Austin asked if this is for fun or for a project. So this is a commission that someone commissioned on my list. And it was the same with the Morgan. She was also a commission. And I haven't had the chance to, with moving and deadlines, to work on my commissions. And I figured it was like killing two birds with one stone, or three birds, by just doing the commission live so that it gets done. You guys get to see the process, and so that's why I'm doing commissions live. What did I do with that post now? I think we gotta bring back in the Home Depot carpenter's pencil. I didn't see that. Fantastic Four First Steps, completely nerfed, read, stretching, and I wonder how that looks, or if he does that at all. Is this piece? So if I had to pick one Pedro Pascal TV show or movie, which one would you guys recommend at this point? Because I can't watch them all. I don't want to know the guy too much. Let's put it that way. Or like, what if you watched two different Pedro Pascal movies? You see one after another. Does it throw you off because he's like? Do you remember from the first movie, the second movie? Like, which character is he? Like, when you're watching movies, it's like you're supposed to suspend disbelief. But if I see the same guy in different universes, it might throw me off a little bit. So I kind of want to just pick one and have him be that guy for a bit. I mean, Mandalorian worked for me for a while, and you couldn't even see his face. And Game of Thrones is long enough ago where I could separate the two. So Mandalorian, okay, awesome. You know, I might be a little adventurous and just add her hand gesture instead. So then that makes the pose a little bit more interesting, even though it's technically a bust drawing commission. I just think that if you could add a little flair to the character, as long as it works, why not? Then it's gonna look different from the like 8 other bust drawings I have to do, basically. Plus I have to practice for my own Neo Wonderland Kickstarter sketch cover, so so I don't get tired of drawing the same poses. Oh, Joel, yeah, I know. That was rough. Jefferson, what is it about traditional drawing that makes you want to grab a pencil? You know what? It might be the sound it makes on the paper. And how it's, once you put a line down, you could erase it. It's there forever, I guess, in a way, until you take it into Photoshop and stuff. Equalizer 2. Oh, I didn't know anything about that equalizer. I mean, yeah, I don't know enough about it. Okay, there you go. So you guys are watching me think in real time, sort of, because I did not pre-plan what I would do with the post today, so. Yeah, for sure. Isn't that funny? Medusa and Scarlet Witch do look a lot alike, don't they? Maurice asked if I would ever do a comic book from the 70s and 80s. I could try. I don't know if it's I don't know if my style lends well to that, but yeah, it would be kind of neat to at least blend some elements of it. That's kind of where I got the idea that inking with brushes would look kind of cool on my own stuff, was from the older comic books. I don't really use nibs. Oh, I guess side note, I don't use nibs a lot because I draw so many comics that you have to press kind of hard with nibs, and also so that it hurts my wrist, but also like it doesn't dry as fast. So, and I work really fast, and I might accidentally smudge my work when I do that. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Thanks for joining us. And so Suburban View, I saw a prospect with Pascal, but ended up disappointed by his acting and hard for me to get into. I just think it's good to take certain movies and actors in doses and not like all at the same time, just because they're playing a character. So I want to keep that in mind, you know. Saludos. Hello, Ronaldo. Hola. Okay, you guys, I'm going to draw for another, I'm going to say about 7 minutes, and then I have to head over to dinner. And then, so I take a little break, and then after dinner, I usually play a little bit Call of Duty, and then I go back to drawing some more pages. So I'm super close to being done with Rockefellers, and after that I jump right back into Neo Wonderland, and I'll get you guys more info on that very shortly here. So then in the coming week or two, I think, yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna draw her cool jazz hands, right? Like this. Something like that. So I'll leave this part blank. I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to do with her hair. I know I want it to be flowy, but I don't want it to go crazy because I have a tendency to go overboard. I just want like a really cool shape. So yeah, we shall leave this blank until next time, I think. So today we got to jump around a little bit, you know, do a bit of like inking on Rockefellers, and then worked a little bit on commission. So that I felt kind of productive today. That was awesome. It's the mustache. Yes. Ronaldo, do I use a Zig Menzo? Yes. So right here, my favorite brush. Let me see if I can show you guys the other ones I have. I don't think I have it here. I don't know what this is. I got brushes everywhere, but this is the one I use 75 to 80% of the time, and then I use this one the other part of the time. So those two brushes enough to basically do most of the work. And if I had to use nibs, it would be this one. This is the Tachikawa. It's pretty popular. I've seen other people using it. It's like really sharp and fine. But like I said, I don't really do it because of the smudging, and I'm pretty fast, so like I don't want to smudge anything. So alrighty. So I don't know if we're gonna get any further with her hair because well, okay, so her cape is going back. So it means her hair is going to want to go back too. But like I said, it's too close. I kind of have to like squint and look really far to see what I'm looking at. So I need to step back and then kind of reemerge with the composition. Let's see. Perfect. It requires precision. Yes. It took a little bit of practice, but inking with brushes was like by far my most favorite approach. It's like I could do so much with one brush versus like, you know, a nib. I mean, maybe when I have more time, I think I'll go back and kind of relearn it a little bit or slow down. Or even though I use like micron pens and like the fine pen the liners, I don't like doing that because then it's overly detailed sometimes and kind of stiff looking. So when Rolando asked what's the coolest project I've worked on, oh my gosh, I don't know, man. I've been drawing for a while, so it kind of, I think if I could start with like my dream project from before I did comics and I always wanted to do it, I mean, honestly, drawing Fathom and, you know, for Aspen Comics, because Michael Turner was a huge idol of mine, that was like a huge project that I got to work on. And Lola was obviously, you know, that was my create your own story, so that was cool. And those were the two things I always wanted to do, was like work on a Michael Turner book, and then Lady Mechanica, because Joe Benitez was also one of my biggest idols growing up. So those were the ones that I think were my favorites that I could think of right now. I kind of want her to have the big, like, 80s hair or 70s hair. I don't know. So I might want to look at some references to get some good idea for Scarlet Witch's hair, like curly hair. You know, something from the old 1960s movies. Maybe Planet of the Apes. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm gonna call this. Let's see. I'm gonna take a break from this one for now, and yeah, and I think until next time we'll either finish this one or maybe start another one, and then I could show you guys this one and more again when I finish her, so that you see the stuff I finished and then we start on something new, so it's not like just disappeared. So thank you so much, JD. Yeah, this is fun. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Saturday, you guys. I wasn't sure anybody would be here. I'm like, maybe nobody wants to do this on Saturday, because I like Saturday. It's really chill. Yeah, Maurice, classic comic book styles, amazing. Because it's like line economy, right? Like they don't need a ton of detail just to get their point across, and they have all the foundational stuff, whether it's storytelling, panel layouts, and just everything. They got the strategy and technique down for all that stuff. So, all right, you guys. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me. 4th stream, still learning some stuff. I'm likely going to have some guest artists at some point, and I do have a couple of people I'm going to be podcasting with that they've been in the works for a while, and I haven't had the chance to since I was moving, and I wanted to have great video quality, because when we were at the cabin, like I said, we couldn't stream, so it looked pretty bad. So a couple more podcast episodes with some guests, and then guest artists maybe. Be careful with the fridge. Yeah, Pedro Pascal's hiding in there. And big, huge updates for Neo Wonderland coming very soon, so stay tuned. Stay very, very tuned. So, yeah, no Pedro Pascal jokes, huh? He's probably going to find his stream someday in the future and like, wait, they were talking about me the whole time. Like, he takes over everything. So, oh, thanks for stopping by. I know it's late. I'm sorry. Thanks for stopping by, Dave Thomas. The audio worked this time, and we started right away, so I think you're good. Like the last episode, it took a while to get kind of going. So, all right, you guys. Well, you have a good day. I guess it's evening for me, but good day, maybe good morning for you guys. It's so late in Madrid. Ronaldo, thank you for hanging out with us. Gracias. 12 a.m. Dang. You guys have a good evening, okay? Good day, good evening. So, all right, you guys, let's try to do this next week. I'm thinking Saturday was great. Friday was fun too. So we'll see. All right, on the count of, oh, I hate this part. Bye, you guys. So, okay. Well, I will see you next week. Yeah, Joel, I'm thinking it's going to be a foreshortened hand, like doing her, her magic or whatever gesture. So that's what she's going to do. Okay, you guys, I will see you guys next week. So, bye. See you later.